Aye.
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 Okay, the ayes have it. Matters arising, outstanding matters, town manager.
I just clicked in. Um, 1 second, sorry. So I'll just go into an update for my town manager's report unless somebody had a specific question in matters arising. So basically from the report perspective, the deliverance exhibit has been removed. The space was bricked and made safe, and it ended up being an effective use during the St. George's Seafood Festival. So the Seafood Festival we did have on the 18th of September. Again, utilizing that space where the deliverance was, had 3 vendors in there. The event was very successful and basically far exceeded our expectation with an estimated 3,600 attendees. So it was a good collaboration with the BTA and the corporation. So the marketing for that event was done very well, and hence I guess that's why the number of participants or attendees was what it was. But the BTA had taken that on. From the corporation's perspective, we erected a new pole on Stiles Hill so that we could display the banner so that people will be aware of the event. So that will be going forward a opportunity for revenue generation because we can now market that as a potential spot for advertising and promotion of various events, whether the events are in St. George's or on other parts of the island as well. The dock rebuild for the Ordnance Island and that will be used for the Marina project is progressing. We currently have an inspector on island that is testing the piles. So once these tests are complete, then they will drive the rest of the piles. So it is expected that the noise will get, we've had some noise over the last couple of days, so then that will extend to last about 2 weeks until all the piles are driven in place. So temporary inconvenience for St. George's residents. So again, just reminded that the entire project is scheduled for completion in January 2023. There was one industrial accident that has been recorded as a result of that project. Fortunately, there was only property damage, so there was nobody injured, but it did damage a vehicle and the fence on the western or the eastern end was damaged. So that has to get repaired as part of the, once I guess right now they've just put like a temporary wooden piece to keep the site secure. The western side of the fence got blown down in the Hurricane Fiona. So they've temporarily put that in place, but that will have to move anyway and was proposed to move as part of the marina development aspect. So right now it's being held in place temporarily just to provide the security to the construction site. And work has commenced at Hunter's Wharf. So the contractor has gone on site, and that's basically to develop or put in the bowline and apparatus so that the government ferry can operate. So initially it was projected that that would be a 4-week process. So we can anticipate 4 weeks from now, I guess they would be finished. What else I have here? We had over the last month 3 calls from a cruise ship perspective in terms of the Insignia and the Seven Seas Navigator. We've got 2 calls that are scheduled for October and 3 for November. So this is an attempt of the Ministry of Transport to kind of increase our cruise season. So they're scheduled, and weather permitted, we should get these calls. But due to weather-related incidents, the Norwegian tender that runs for the NCL cruise ships down at Hunter's Wharf hasn't been running because the ship had a schedule change due to weather-related events. So the TON, we're basically trying to get the TON back together following the passage of Hurricane Fiona and still get ready for the peppercorn ceremony. So it's a lot happening. So peppercorn ceremony is October the 12th. So we've got like 2 weeks to get the TON back spliffy in time to receive the governor and our other invited guests. And just the last time I think I reported that there was a leak at the junction of York Street and Duke of Clarence Street that we had addressed. And I've reached out to BLDC and the Ministry of Public Works in terms of trying to address the long-term solution to that issue, because the new pipe is being laid on top of the corporation's pipe. So the weight of it basically caused the break in our pipe. So it's anticipated that once they charge it up and the weight of the water is in the pipe, then it may be a reoccurrence of what has happened thus far. So I just brought it to the attention of the powers that be, and so I'm waiting for somebody to reach back and have a meeting about it. So to date, nobody's said anything. That's my report, Mr. Mayor. Anybody has any questions, or if I've overlooked something, somebody has a question about, they can raise it.
Does anyone have any questions for the town manager for her report?
Actually, sure, yes. Yeah. I was just thinking the Deliverance project. I haven't been down there for a bit. Did we manage to save some of that stern that was around there?
The stern?
Yeah, it was. Did we?
The wall is still in place. We didn't take it down.
Okay, I haven't been out there yet.
It's still in place. So
Okay.
At this time.
Gotcha.
I have a question in regards to the water line. Who in Ministry of Public Works did you contact in regards to that? And because I have a personal connection that might be able to get that moving a little quicker.
I don't know what you're trying to get moving or quicker, but the project is a BLDC project. So that contact is Andrew Diaz as the CEO, and Tarek Christopher is the engineer on the public works side. But in the communication, I also included the permanent secretary, who is responsible for municipalities. So basically, we're all brothers and sisters in the same ministry. Mm-hmm. So
it was just in regards to response to your initial query. That's all. So I was just asking. So.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
All right. Committee reports, finance. There are no resolutions to come out of finance this month. If you all recall, we approved the funding for the our activities budget for UNESCO, from UNESCO rather. It was an amount of the our revenue and expenses are tracking or trending in the right direction. So we're on target to hit our projections for that. And that was it for finance. We also had infrastructure. There are no resolutions coming out of infrastructure. Just waiting to hear what's going to happen with the development of the deliverance as far as the Ordnance Island project goes. But we are looking to start fundraising for that at some point once we get the final drawings from the vendor, the engineer and architect person. And that is it for infrastructure. Governance, there wasn't a governance meeting held. We had canceled it due to the preparation of Hurricane Earl, which was hitting the same day as our governance committee meeting. So we did have
So are you looking to hear back from me from governance?
no.
Right, because yeah, I was going to say we didn't have a meeting. Okay.
Councilor Roberts, activities.
Yes, good evening, everybody. In the activities committee, we didn't have any resolutions, just information about the Sea Festival. I was down there, it went very well. I think, I want to say close to maybe 1,000 people. I'm not sure. Did we get any numbers on that?
3,600.
600? Oh,
3,600.
3,600.
Yes, that's why there was some challenges along the way because the vendors didn't expect that, so they ran out of food and all of these other things that was a result of getting that large of a number that nobody was anticipating, which
Yeah,
is a good thing to have.
And the Four Ways went all the way back up to Four Ways to get more of the shrimp and everything like that, which was amazing. I think that's the only thing I got to sample. Next year. Also, the peppercorn ceremony. Well, that's upcoming. Hope everybody's got their suits all lined up. Lighting of the town. Looking to do that on the 26th of November. That's to be confirmed, I believe, or it is confirmed now. Yep. So the 26th of November. There was no UNESCO applications for activities, and there was an event proposal about the mayor's Christmas party, and we're discussing to do that on the lighting of the town evening as well. That's all we had for activities.
Okay. Thank you very much for that, Councilor Roberts. I just want to go on record. Seafood Festival was spectacular and it was very well done. So thank you to the activities committee that put that on. Thank you to the workers of the Corporation of St. George that perform miracles 10 times out of 10 behind the scenes to make things happen with a yes attitude and a can-do attitude. Even when it's the hardest of the hard, they just pull it together and just make it work. Thank you to the Bermuda Tourism Authority for partnering with us and collaborating with us to make that happen, especially the marketing machine that they deployed to actually get people to participate in that event. When I left the event for the first time, it was like 2 o'clock in the afternoon. It was 1,000 people there, and it didn't look like it. And then I was looking back over there constantly, and then it's like it looked like 5 times as many people every time I looked over there. So it was a great experience to have. People loved it, and we've set a benchmark for how we can do that going forward. That particular event. So well done to everyone, and thank you once again. Does anyone have anything else for activities?
Councilor Roberts, just to confirm, did you have, what was the date again? October for the peppercorn?
The peppercorn is the 12th.
Beg your pardon?
October 12th.
12th.
Mhm.
Thank you.
And congratulations on the seafood festival. Looked like a great success. I hit it early, so I knew it was going to happen. I wound up with some food, which it was very good, and I went back for more, and I couldn't get anything. So I can't wait for next year.
Absolutely. Okay,
Can I
Go.
just, before you go on, sorry, Mayor, just add in terms of other organizations using the corporation's property for events and activities. So the typical things that we would normally have coming online are being scheduled and done. So we're looking at the National Trust Walk in December, as well as the events that Councillor Roberts already said. And we've had some inquiries for next year. The Portuguese Association with the Portuguese Festival, they're looking to do their event next year in June. One of the things that we wanted to kind of accomplish with the Seafood Festival was to kind of show a concept. So the use of Ordnance Island, different, because typically when we do things, we do it in King Square. So this was like to trying to show a use of concept so that other event promoters and organizations would look at Ordnance Island as a venue. So that's why, when the deliverance was removed, to make that space usable so it can be a future event space or multi-purpose use. So we've had inquiries. So we're looking to kind of just not have that space sitting there, but to actually use it and utilize it. So the Portuguese festival organizers have expressed that they like the concept of the St. George's Seafood Festival and using Ordnance Island. So I think they're looking at that. The National Trusts are looking at doing the VIP experience in the deliverance, former deliverance space. And then I've also had inquiries about a potential, I don't know if I call it a food truck or some type of mobile food experience. So I've just got the individual that was interested to come and kind of visualize it before they actually put in a permit or application for us to consider to say whether that would work. But one of the things, because a lot of our properties are coming online now, we have to, and the approach I've taken is that we don't want to be having, putting competition in direct competition with our tenants, people that are paying, rent in corporation buildings. So we don't want to disadvantage them because we need to be, receiving our rent. So I've got like mobile vendors looking at other spaces because the initial inquiry was, probably Penner's Wharf. But if you don't know, Temptations has now opened. And they're down there and I've had good, I haven't been in there myself since they've been open, but I've had good comments about the, the service and the food. And this morning when I came by, they had actually had a table outside and it was two, I'm assuming they were visitors, but sitting outside to, that whole al fresco dining experience that people tend to want to experience in Bermuda. So they're open. So I wouldn't want to put, some mobile vendor doing the same type of fare, in the same proximity. So I'm saying it's other things, other venues, whether it's Ordnance Island, King Square, Summers Gardens is an option, but I don't know in terms of actual foot traffic in the wintertime, whether that would be kind of viable from a economic perspective. But I'm basically getting people to look at St. George's, use us as a venue, and we're looking, as revenue generation. So that's the ultimate goal.
Is that it, Ms. Figure?
Mm-hmm.
All right, government board member reports, planning board, Councillor Dowling.
Nothing to report at this time.
for Fire Services Advisory Board, Councilor Roberts.
Still yet to have a meeting. No response back from anything. Not sure the ways that I could get through this. As I said last time, I've messaged Minister Weeks as well about it, and nothing back as of yet. So,
How about Lyndon Rayner and Dean Rebane? I believe there's to offer some sort of advice or at least engage you in some sort of conversation.
mhm. Okay.
All right. Okay. Other board member reports. St. George's Preservation Authority. We met this month. Our grant application was denied by probably most likely going to appeal and see if they can still give us some money anyway, because we need to operate. So we'll see if they're willing to reconsider. Also, we're looking at alternative means of generating funds. And one of the other areas by which we may end up generating funds is by actually charging an administrative fee for consideration of development in St. George's and within the preservation area. So that's one of the things that we're looking at for that. In addition to that, the Pub on the Square, number 3 King Square, early in the month had their roof bedding. It was well attended. The Premier was there, MP Ming, MP Swan, Minister of the Municipalities, Colonel Birch was there as well. It's a great opportunity to tour the new location and see what infrastructure is in place, as well as embrace the opportunity for another building that has been rehabbed, improving the overall aesthetic of the town, as well as another vibrant business opening up to add to the activity of the town. And that's it for the St. George's Preservation Authority. Brings us to any other business. Councillor Chu.
Sure, Mayor. I guess just a statement. I believe we had representatives go to Lyme Regis this year. I thought it might be good in the future, or we could have that discussion, maybe send 1 or 2 councillors, maybe with a stipend. Just a statement.
I'm sorry, my screen froze just now. I missed half of what you said to Councillor Chu.
Concerning, I believe we sent a couple to Lyme Regis this year. And can you hear me?
Yes.
I was just thinking, it would have been from last year's discussion on it, mention of it. I thought maybe this year it would have been nice, or maybe for next year, it'd be nice to maybe send 1 or 2 councillors, maybe with a stipend or something like that. It'd be nice to have a conversation on it in the future. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for that.
My apologies, my phone died. I missed the last few minutes. I'm sorry, it's like running out of gas in traffic. I'm sorry. What I missed?
You, Councillor Chu, were in any other business, and Councillor Chu thought it prudent if we sent 1 or 2 councillors to Lyme Regis to visit next year as part of the contingent with a little stipend.
Excellent idea.
Yes, it is an excellent idea, except for one thing, right? We as the council, when budget time comes, you need to allocate and allow for that if in the budget.
Guess we would do
Okay.
that in finance committee.
You do it in finance and then you approve it in the general council. So you will probably need to, if you want at least 2 and go and room and board and airline and stuff like that, you'd probably need to factor in a travel budget of around $35, $40, $50,000.
Okay.
That seems very exorbitant. That's not.
That's just in case, but you shoot for the stars, you clear the trees, right? So.
But it's not going to cost $1,000 to send at a minimum 4 people.
Oh, no,
You've got to clean them, you've got to feed them,
yeah.
you've got to house them, and, as you said, a little stipend.
Sounds good to me.
All
I'll
right.
see you guys in finance.
So when we start talking about our budget later on this year, is that next month or the month after, you need to factor these considerations in.
Sounds good.
All right. Anything else for you, Councillor Chu?
Not now. Thank you.
All
I
right.
have a comment.
Yes, Madam Figure.
The Twinning Association.
Go ahead, Madam.
That's it. That's just to, you as the mayor can elaborate, I think.
In other words, the mayor and the town manager in this instance, the past 2 iterations have been invited by the Lyme Regis Twinning Association. Bermuda has its version of the Twinning Association, but the membership is waning. So those of you who are amongst the council here, if you wish to join, by all means, sign your name up and make yourselves part of the association, and then it increases the likelihood of making your excursion possible. I would also put it out there to those that are listening at home. If you wish to join the Twinning Association, by all means, reach out to one of the members. Henry Haywood's a member, Maria Casey, Ed Christopher's a member, Mary Malone, George Cook. Just reach out to these people. They can fill you in on the relevant information when it comes to the Twinning Association. All right.
Because just to add, that's the purpose of supposedly the trip, is to keep the association between the 2 cons. So Lyme Regis in the UK was where George Summers came from, and then obviously he came to St. George's, Bermuda. So it's that twinning, hence the sign that's out at the entrance to the town that were twinned with Lyme Regis. But it was the association between the 2 groups in each that kept that bond alive, and that was the intent. But I think part of it was the mayor, from the corporation's perspective, not necessarily the councillors of the corporation. It was the mayor and then people of the association, the Twinning Association. So it wasn't a corporation affiliation. But it looks that it's, as the mayor said, like the membership is dwindling off. They're aging. They haven't brought in any new younger people to carry on the, I don't know, the legacy or the interest or whatever, so that it can continue. So if it ain't continuing, then it's gonna die. So it's up to the association to bring in more members, or to get the interest, and pull in younger people and get them to understand the history, so that it can have the legacy effect. Otherwise, when certain people die, it's going to be the end of it, because they haven't shared the knowledge and brought in a younger interest.
And to speak, like a lot of these people at a bare minimum, I would encourage them to engage their children. I've been to their meetings, and I don't even see the members even like bringing their children on to just even have a legacy from that perspective. But I think it would be a group that would be well strengthened by members of our corporation here, like Councillor Roberts and Ms. Butterfield would be a good fit in there. Councillor Harris.
I mean, I had previously done line readers on behalf of the mayor when Mayor Francis was mayor. And I think the way forward with respect to the Twinning Association is to try to look at other connections, quite apart from, you know, one simple historical fact, which I'm not even clear that the people who were on board the original boat actually came from that area as opposed to Plymouth or the like. But, you know, there is a connection there. However, for example, rowing, they have a rowing, gig rowing in Lyme Regis. In fact, when I went on behalf of the mayor, I actually spoke about rowing and went rowing and all that sort of stuff. And I think what needs to happen is we have to look at other alliances, not just the mere fact of the twinning, to strengthen the connection between Lyme Regis and St. George's. They have a boat building academy, for example,
Yes,
an excellent boat building academy. That is an avenue that needs to be explored. You know, they're adjacent, they're part of the Jurassic World Heritage Site, right? So, you know, we need to look at more than, or those who are on the twinning associations, both sides of the Atlantic, need to look at all the possible relationships and connections that they could have with Bermuda. But there are at least 3 or 4 clear pathways to exploiting this twinning relationship that should be looked at.
You're absolutely right, Councillor Christopher. Ms.
Absolutely right.
Fogo and I, the first time we went to Lyme Regis, we actually had the privilege of touring that boat building academy. I think it would be a great exchange program or opportunity there. In meeting with the town clerk, Mr. Wright, I think it's also worthwhile exploring an employee exchange sometimes, you know, for like a month or so, or 3 months, just to let them come over, see how we do things, and vice versa, see how they do things in Lyme.
And the other thing is, I think that the relationship is going to peter out on both ends, because they're the people in Lyme Regis who are, certainly when I was there, who are associated with the Twinning Association, aren't exactly spring chickens either. And their Twinning Association, when I was there, admittedly 3 or 4 years ago, centered largely around, you know, a small coterie of people, you know. So, and them using their friends to keep all the functionings running. So I'm just suggesting that a total revamp of that relationship, if we're to maintain our presence, needs to happen.
That being said, the Lyme Regis Twinning membership has actually grown exponentially since the first time I've been. And this obviously it's subsequent to your visit. So and the membership, though the experts are still there, as it were, the more seasoned people are still there. They do and have courted people that are significantly younger. So like the span is probably about 40, 50 years from the oldest member to the youngest member. And just hopefully that continues on. From the Bermuda perspective, it's more critical, in my opinion, because I would be the